Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. If this is your first video, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be reviewing my new clones. I've gotten a fair few, as you'll probably see. Some of these have been out a fair while, but these are just the clones I've gotten since my last review that I haven't reviewed. So yeah, I'm just going to be going over them. I'm going to try and keep this short, but yeah, you might notice as well in a different area. That's just because I got fed up and knocking into the camera, so I've just moved it around a little bit into a setup I find a little bit more easy to work with. Also have a light shining down, so you might see me turn it off, turn it on a little bit because it's getting a bit dark now. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with probably the first one that came out of these three, which I believe was Rex. And to be honest, he is my least favourite out of the three, so I'm going to start off with him. So just move these two off to the side. And yeah, here we have Captain Rex. And he's not bad. He definitely could be better though. Mine out of the box, it had some issues. For example, the visor paint, as you can see, it's a little bit. It's not the best. That's because I actually had to use a permanent marker to go back over it and improve it. Here's the permanent marker I used. Even no particular reason why I'm showing that. I had to go back over and do it with a permanent marker because it was so thin it didn't fill out the visor. And it just looked really bad, so I just went over it with a permanent marker, and now it looks fairly decent. You're seeing another problem I have with it. Oh, it's not really. There you go. The helmet's just unbelievably loose. But I'll start off. I'm getting sidetracked a bit. I'll start off just going over the basic details of it though, and I do actually like the basic details. The weld marks all look really nice. As you see, the weathering all looks good. Obviously, you don't have the full pauldron because this was based off concept art. Because in season 7, he got his pauldron damaged, so he just took off the actual pauldron part of it. But yeah, I do like the thicker stripes. I don't have the original one, which is why I picked this up. And he has the thicker blue stripes on his arm, which do look better. It's a more vibrant blue as well, which still isn't accurate to the realistic interpretation of the 501st, but it is still accurate to the Clone Wars. The battle damage looks lovely, and these weld marks are actually sculpted in, which is really nice. Going down, he has the Karma, which on mine is really rigid, and due to how it was packed, it doesn't really lay flush, which isn't the nicest, but could be worse. Going down, he has his tally marks, and he does have the problem that was with Hawk, where the shins are inverted, so they're the wrong way around. Honestly, it doesn't bother me too much, but you can't really change with Rex as well, because then you have the tally marks on the inside, which doesn't look as nice. And going down to his feet is very dirty feet. No grey mark around the sole though of the boot, which is a bit of a shame. Going back up his arm has all the tally marks. Very nice. Doesn't have any weathering on the belt though, which is a bit weird, but hey ho. Go over the unhelmeted head sculpt. It looks nice. A bit shiny as has been with the photo reel, but it does look really nice as Temuera Morrison. But yeah, it's pretty decent, but it does lead on to my biggest problem with this figure, as I mentioned. It just fits so loosely on his head. You can kind of wedge the chin under there, and then it stays on relatively well. But if you knock it, it just goes loose again. And then that leads me on to my next biggest problem with this figure, is binoculars. You bring them forward, and you then want to have the antenna up, and it looks alright, but then you realise that that's unpegged there, so you push that in, and it angles inwards. You want to have the binoculars up and the rangefinder straight up. You can't, because it just sticks off an angle, and I really just don't like how that looks. If I was into really modifying my figures, I would just cut the binoculars off. I don't care about them. But as it is, all I do is I just move them to the back, and it doesn't look too bad. But honestly, I really do not like the binoculars. I feel like you should have been able to take them off, and keep the rangefinder on. But as it is, you can't take off the binoculars and have the rangefinder on. You have to take them both off, which is a shame. But overall, the helmet does look really nice. Definitely better than the original, I would say, in the paint department, with the exception of my issue. However, he does have the incorrect number of tallies, and he is missing some paint up the back. He's missing the black there and the grey that goes around there. But overall, he does look really nice. He does come with his 2 pistols, and his soft good kind of hood thing, which I'll just get. He comes with this soft goods cape, which is why they justified the higher price. It's pretty nice. Not really my thing. I've got this for a clone Captain Rex, so I'm not going to put this back on for the review. You can Google images of him wearing it, because it's an absolute pain to put back on. But yeah, overall, this guy's really nice. He does use the Bly and the same body as the original Rex and Bly, so he has the really nice elbows, as you can see, the really nice arm articulation. Interesting enough, as you'll see with this guy, he has a softer shoulder pad, so you can get more of a bicep swivel out of it, which is weird. But even then, it's not that soft especially compared to Bly. But he doesn't have the great leg articulation. I honestly think that if they combined the legs of the new clone body with the arms of this clone body, it would be the perfect body, basically. But yeah, overall, not bad, but not the best. So yeah, that's Rex. Also, we'll say this isn't going to be the most professional review. Never is it? Going on to the next released one, we have the Game & Greats Jet Trooper, which I actually really like. He does have the newer helmet, which is a little bit out of proportion with the body, but honestly, it doesn't bother me because they have actually painted on the black stripe, and I just like how this looks, to be honest. He has Jango Fett's jetpack, which is removable, and it's just painted up in a nice clone colour. But yeah, this guy is really nice. He uses the same upper body as Hawk, where he has the dumbbell joint in the neck rather than the hinge and swivel as like Rex did. And yeah, he's really nice. The only kind of paint blemish that I have on mine is on the mouthpiece. But other than that, the paint on it is really nice. As you can see, overall, quite nice paint. He only comes with a pistol. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with any rifles or anything like that, which would have been nice. But if you have any of the older Black Series clones, you can. They all basically came with a carbine and a rifle, so you can give them one of those if you want. Although it looks like they're doing away with that now with the 212th and the see in the background, I've got the Battle Begins animated Optimus. But it does look like they're doing away with 2 weapons and they're just giving them the carbine. I really don't like that, especially since the prices are going up. They really should be including both. But I'm kind of hoping that they're maybe refining the sculpt to be more accurate, but who knows? It's Hasbro. Yeah, really nice paint on this guy. I do really like him. He has the same articulation as Rex for the most part. As you can see, there's stiffer plastic for the shoulder pads, so bicep swivel's a lot more difficult to do, especially on this arm as well. You can see it actually flexes the shoulder pad. All the same except for the head, which has the dumbbell joint, which honestly I don't mind this helmet. Sorry about the glare from my window. Maybe I'll put the light on, that might help. But yeah, overall I do really like this guy. He has the shin problem as well, but again, doesn't really bother me too much, to be honest. So yeah, this guy is also really cool and I like him. Yep, so moving on to Boss. And this is easily the most controversial figure on the list. You might see I have him holding the carbine. I'll tell you why in a minute. he's easily the most controversial one on the list, because he is very inaccurate to the game, as in very inaccurate. And even his accuracy to the actual Clone Wars cartoon where he shows up, he's not super accurate to that, because they just reused Hunter's body, basically. From what I understand, the only new part on him is the helmet. Other than that, it's all reuse of Hunter, which it really should not be. Like, they even left in the tab where the sheath for Hunter's knife plugs in. And that is incredibly lazy. For it to be realistic, it should have shoulder elbow pads. Boss should have a shoulder pad that's over the regular one. It's just unbelievably inaccurate. But, and this is a very big but, I really like him. He is a very fun figure. And honestly, I kind of like him in spite of the inaccuracies, because, again, like I said, he is just a fun figure. Now, if you're a stickler for accuracy, then you're not going to like him. Get one of, I think there's like John Walker Customs does custom kits for it. Get one of those, but I'm honestly happy with this guy, and I will probably be getting Fixer. And yes, I can already see people going, "Oh, you're part of the problem." Yes, I am, but I value my figures being fun over them actually. At the end of the day, they're toys, and I want them to be fun when I'm messing with them. Would I prefer them to be accurate? Yes, but am I annoyed that he's not? Yes. But do I think it ruins the figure? No, absolutely not. This is a fun figure in its own right, and at the end of the day, that's what a toy should be. So now I've got that out of the way. What is this? How is this guy? He's really fun. As you can see, the details on him are very basic, because it is, again, it's based on the animated show. But the helmet does look really nice. He doesn't have the white that they have in even the show, but I still kind of like it despite that. But yeah, going around, I think the paint on him is really good. I know it is inaccurate, but hey, at the end of the day, it is Hasbro. At least it's not as lazy as the Black Chrysanthemum. I know that's based on the comics, but that just looks so. He's such a fierce character, and he just looks so like passive on that figure. Whereas Boss here, he still looks pretty decent. He doesn't have the special. I'm just going to kind of go over some of the accuracies. I know he doesn't have the special, the special handguard that he has in the games. And one big problem that a lot of people are pointing out: his gun is way too small. Now, if you give me a sec, I will go get the 3 3/4 inch version of the Republic Commando rifle. Now, if I take this out of his hand, which he holds very well, I will say. I probably shouldn't have picked the black background for this. As you can see, they're very similar in size. There is not much difference. I mean, there is a difference, but it's very, very slight. And a problem I have found is when he holds this gun, he looks very out of proportion, because the gun is too small. So, for example, I'll just get him to hold it. And as you can see, it accentuates his bad proportion. So it accentuates how his head is a little bit too big for his body. And it makes him look quite bad, to be honest. But you take this out of his hand, and you give him, say, a normal DC-15 carbine. This is the one that came with the Kamino Clone Trooper, just because I give him the Kamino Clone Trooper his rifle, because I think he just looks a bit cooler with it. And as you can see, he looks more proportionate with it, because the gun is actually proportionate to him. And I actually like how this looks. This is the main thing that made me like this figure a lot more. Because if you give him a normal gun, like either one of the rifles or the carbine, he's in proportion, and he actually looks a lot nicer. Should the the Republic Commando gun been in proportion? Yes, it should have been. but I like the look of him with one of these guns, and yeah, he looks really cool with it in my opinion. One interesting thing I will say though is that you can actually put the Transformer Siege blast effects on the end there. Just a thing to note, you can do that. But yeah, I think he looks a lot better with one of the standard clone blasters, and you can get custom 3D printed Republic Commando rifles that are in scale. I'm not going to do that because I'm just happy to give him one of these and call it a day. Going over articulation on this guy, it is actually different to the other ones. It's not too different, but it is different. So he has a dumbbell joint at the head, which is a bit limited by just the shape of the helmet and the collar pieces. So he can look up about that far, down a fair bit, and you can get tilt and obviously rotation. The shoulder pads are on a separate ring with the shoulders, so you can either move them individually or you can move them together. He does have a butterfly joint, which it's not a great range of motion, but it's enough to get some to change his body language, stuff like that. The arms can move out, I'd say about that far before you start stressing the rubber. He has a single jointed elbow which comes up past 90 and then rotates there. This wrist swivels and goes in and out, and the other one swivels and goes up and down. He has a nice waist joint which gives him plenty of articulation. So it's a very nice waist joint. The legs, they come up about that far before you have to start rotating it, and then you can bend the knee and then rotate it to get him kneeling, and he can kneel, but unfortunately the knee pad is attached to the thigh, not the knee, which is a bit annoying. As you see there, he has a thigh swivel. Then the feet move down that far, up that far, and then they pivot as well. So he is very nicely articulated, and I honestly just find him fun. At the end of the day, that's what I prioritise out of my figures, and that's what he delivers on. So you can see my lamp at the back there as well. So yeah, I do like it. Well, by the way, as well, his backpack is removable if you want to do that. Doesn't really expose any detail, but it's something you can do. So yeah, overall, I actually really like this guy. Just a comparison though between a realistic 3 3/4" Republic Commando, who me as a child absolutely destroyed. As you can see, the realistic ones are a lot more bulky. But I still enjoy this guy. I still find him fun. So yeah, that's all my clone purchases. At least in the 6-inch range, I have got some 3 3/4" ones, but yeah. So these are my 3 3/4. They're my 6-inch clones that I've gotten since my last video, and I actually really like them. Rex, I'd say, is probably my least favourite, just because the helmet just really kills it for me. And the pauldron is also a pain. It should have been better, really. But overall, I'd say this guy he's really fun. Boss, again, a really fun figure, especially when you get him a better weapon. And Rex he's if you don't have the original, he's a decent stand-in. Obviously, you can get 3D printed upgrade kits for him, which just improve the overall look of him. So there is stuff you can do to improve it. But yeah, I do really enjoy these. Just for comparison, I'll go get some comparisons. Here they are with McFarlane and Jazzwares Chief. I don't actually think the scale between these two are fairly accurate. I think Infinite Chief should be a little bit shorter, but I think for the most part it is accurate. Obviously he's a smaller scale, so these two work well together. Here they are with Earthrise Optimus and Kingdom Primal. So there you can see that. And here they are with the Silver Centurion Iron Man from Marvel Legends and the Build-A-Figure Thanos in his armour. I don't know, I think there was another one before him, but this is the one in his armour. So, at the end of the day, would I recommend them? Yes, I would recommend them. Obviously, if you're a stickler for accuracy, then these two probably aren't going to be the best for you, because he's the oversized helmet and he just has the animated look. Rex, again, not really accurate to anything except the concept art, but still for the most part realistic. So yeah, I would recommend them. If you need a Rex, there's a Rex. If you want to build up your clone army, there's a clone. If you want to build Delta Squad, there's your boss. So yeah, I would recommend them. So that's going to be it for this review. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. And if you didn't enjoy, please let me know in the comments why you didn't enjoy, because I would love to be able to improve. If you really enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate the support. And yeah, that's it for this review. So I'll see you on the next one.